I think I'm still learning, I think I would say like in year 4 or 5 in some of the in in the work I was doing in Skid Row is when I started to really um see my role as just like, oh, I'm sort of like I'm a space holder and a facilitator. I think that's when I started to really embrace what that meant because that doesn't mean like I'm a neutral party, but it sort of means like, you know what, this issue, right, around um housing for the most vulnerable is not about me, right? It's if anything, it's about like connecting resources to the people that require it because they're the most impacted by the systems of oppression, but also making sure that, sort of like the people allocating resources and making have all the decision making power also are able to be deeply informed by folks that are directly impacted. And so I think learning to balance um it's one thing to decenter yourself, and then it's another thing to obscure yourself, and I think um yes, there are many times at meetings, where I'm like, okay, this is the agenda, these are the folks that are going to be standing in front of the room because like at this point it shouldn't be me anymore. Like I will buy the food and clean up afterwards and set up all the tables. um but that's also like not necessarily me obscuring myself in that space. It's more about making sure the people that can build the trust and the relationships necessary to get at like the root of the heart of the matter are the ones given the space. But I also recognize like in the end, like I'm getting paid, right? So like that's a form of like not being obscured, right? Like whatever is produced, I'm gonna have a review process and decision making ability over it. And so I think sometimes people just connect visibility with being centered, and I think I've learned a lot like that is also rooted in, I don't know what white dominant culture deems as powerful. And so I think there's always a balance, and it's intentional, I think, because I have a choice. Like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure that, these folks are the ones speaking. Um, I think that's different.